What the hell's going on, people? This is Periodik, and you see the title of the video. We are jumping back into Dragonball Z Dokkan Battle in order to let you know why standalone Videl will not be the next Dokkan Fest character.
Hear my thought. I shut it down wherever power is stored. Being real is in the past, watching cowards get on. It ain't kill me, so it's making me stronger. And these bite-sized rappers now sensing my hunger.
So in case you guys missed it, it was announced a few hours ago that a new Dokkan event will be coming out over on JP. New Super Fierce Battle event announcement. As you can see, shining martial arts talent. Test your skills with a strong and pretty martial artist. Stay tuned for a new Super Fierce Battle event. Please note that the event content and duration are subject to change, blah, 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 blah. So, a lot of people are like, oh, this must mean a standalone Videl Dokkan Fest. Possibly a, Great Saiyaman 2, as she's known, because Gohan is Great Saiyaman 1. I don't believe it's going to be a standalone Videl. Now, this can go two ways. Honestly, it can go three ways. So let's go the first route. Number one, a lot of people are saying that this is potentially a April Fool's joke, right? We'll have an April Fool's event like we did with the Yamcha, and we'll actually go over all of the April Fool's events, or the ones that I can at least remember, and we'll talk about that for a bit. But we're first going to mention of the possibility of it being April Fool's joke. This will be cemented as an April Fool's joke if this is announced for global later tonight. So obviously this video is coming out in the afternoon. If it is announced later tonight over on global that this event is coming out, then it is 100% April Fool's. Keep in mind, Japan is always ahead of global. Well, Japan's always ahead of like the rest of the world in terms of time. So they're going to get their announcement first, typically about 12 hours ahead of time, right? So if we're having a dual celebration, sometimes Japan will get the notification first, and then the rest of the world will get it just because they're ahead in time. It just makes sense, right? Time zone wise. So with this, if Global gets this announcement later today, it's essentially 100% confirmed a April Fool's event. That's just, it would make complete sense because that would be the next dual celebration, an April Fool's celebration. Of course, that makes complete sense. Both Global and Japan would get that at the same time. We're both getting it the same day, April Fool's on the 1st. So that is one route that it can go. The second route that it can go, and again, we'll circle back to the whole April Fool's thing. The second route that it can go is that it is not a standalone Videl, and it would be in fact a Videl and Gohan. Kind of like, if we scroll over to this event here, kind of like the Goten and Trunks. They could be Gohan and Videl, or they can even decide to do Great Saiyaman 1 and 2. That can definitely be an avenue that they decide to go with, a Great Saiyaman 1 and 2, because remember, there's only one Great Saiyaman 1 and 2 in the game right now, and it is a older free-to-play LR. This is the Great Saiyaman 1 and 2 that is currently in the game. Now, keep in mind, what they can even do, which would be fantastic, is give this unit an Extreme Z Awakening alongside of the Dokkan event, because even though this character is still pretty solid, 12 key, you're going to be able to seal super attack, 18 key, you're actually raising superclass allies attack by 30% for 2 turns, which is pretty nice. That's essentially like a Bardock and Gine active skill, essentially. And then the passive skill, 4 key and 50% defense to all superclass allies. And then extreme class enemies get a 70% defense minus, like a debuff. That is almost massively lowering the enemy's defense. That's crazy, right? So they're pretty solid even as they are. Unfortunately, they do get hit extremely hard, and their leader skill is kind of crappy, let's be honest. But that can definitely be something that they decide to do, is Extreme Z Awaken this unit and then come out with a brand new Great Saiyaman 1 and 2, or they could even go crazy and add this unit into the game the Great Saiyaman 2 and 1. So this character came out a while ago, as you can see, November 2020, July 2020 over here. Not a bad unit at all, in case you don't know where it comes from. It is from this Great Saiyaman 2. A standalone Videl, I don't really see it happening, even if they Dokkan Awaken her into Great Saiyaman 2. I can definitely see them doing this, though. A Great Saiyaman 2 and 1, boom, have both of them together, and then that will actually make it somewhat interesting. Or, again, this is still the second option. You can have your standalone Videl and a dual Dokkan Fest of Great Saiyaman on the other one. Have it as a dual Dokkan Fest. Boom. So you have Great Saiyaman 1 and you have Great Saiyaman 2, one on each banner. Make the banners very good. Make the characters very strong. And have like a whole April celebration, right? Spring celebration, spring blossoming, whatever you want to do. Really make it aggressive for the player base, because that has been the theme for JP Dokkan recently. Very aggressive campaign to make players play as much as possible. As much as possible. And that's essentially the third route, right? A dual Dokkan Fest. So the second route would be a standalone unit of Great Saiyaman 1 and 2 or Great Saiyaman 2 and 1. The third option would be separate these two and just have a Great Saiyaman 1 by himself, and then have a Great Saiyaman 2 by herself. That would be very interesting, I think, to have these two separate from each other, but very strong. You can have him as the special pose and, I don't know, make up a new category, like hero category or something like that. And then she can also be like the hero category and a Peppy Gals category lead, and then boom, you have two very strong dual Dokkan Fest units. Now, if we go back, let's just say this gets announced on Global tonight, and it's pretty much confirmed the April Fool's event is coming. Well, let's go ahead and take a look, because Goresh doesn't seem to think that this is not going to be a April Fool's, but I actually disagree with him a little bit, the homie Goresh here. He says, by the way, for everyone saying this is April Fool's, I highly doubt that is the case. When Yamcha's Dokkan event was announced for April Fool's, the wording made it very obvious that it was a joke. There's no indication anywhere in this announcement that it's a gag. Now, that is a very good point, but what I do want to counter that with is Yamcha's event came out in 2016. And the game was in a very different place 5 years ago. So them making it more subtle is 100% something that can happen. I would have put more stock in his argument if it was maybe last year's Dokkan event that did this. But that's not the case. He's used the example of Yamcha. Yamcha came out 5 years ago. I really don't see that as like a strong defense as to why, this can't be a April Fool's. Now, this is worded almost exactly like other Dokkan events. So that is a stronger argument. That is a stronger case to put it like, hey, this is written with the same exact wording as other Dokkan events. So this should be a Dokkan event. Now, whether it's going to be an April Fool's Dokkan event is we have to wait to see, because if we go back into 2017, this was the April Fool's event for 2017. You actually got a Cybermen, it was like a Pokemon type of thing where you would level them up, you would be able to fight them in battle. Obviously, none of this came true because it's April Fool's, right? They always introduce a new game mode that you can't actually play. It's pretty silly. And even the card that you got, if I remember correctly, it was a bunch of Cybermen, but you can't actually use them. I still have them in the game, but I don't think you can actually use them. And then the next year was the Dolly Battle, which is essentially Peppy Gals, right, in 2018. This was really funny because you got a card with all of these units on it, but again, not usable. This was supposed to be like a fake simulator game, which was really silly, as you can see here. It's just like, it's a good a good event to make you laugh, right? So that's exactly what this was for here. And then if we scroll over to the next year, this was probably one of the coolest ones because this was retro mode. So you were going to be able to see a retro Goku, a retro Vegeta. So the cool thing about this is that they actually gave you the units. They gave you 2 units that you can farm up 100%, right? The Goku and the Vegeta. You can get them 100%, which was really nice using special hidden potential orbs there. That was really cool. And they actually weren't bad, which is really funny. And then, of course, last year you had the Dokkan Race mode, which would have been really fun if it came out. But they gave you this Bulma, which was actually a really solid Bulma. Good character there. Hopefully she gets a Dokkan Awakening. But this was really cool just because it was like, look at all this. How much work they put into it. This reminds me of like what Google used to do. Google used to go really hard at making funny, April Fool's stuff, and they just went. Look at, they're showing you progress and stuff. Like, it's absolutely insane the amount of work that they put into making this look like it's actually going to come out, right? Like, imagine a Dokkan Race mode. That'd be so funny. But of course, it didn't come to pass because it's just April Fool's. So we'll see what happens. As I said before, if this is announced tonight on Global, it's going to be an April Fool's event. If not, then I can see them having a Great Saiyaman 1 and 2 as the final form of Videl. And if they don't do that, then I can definitely see a dual Dokkan Fest between these two. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you have any, further questions, or if you have any further insights. Again, this is coming out before the possibility of an announcement later tonight, so we'll have to see what happens. If you want to join the club just to be able to see what's happening, then you can click that blue join button, become a Boomer Elite, a Boomer Champion like Chris Gonzalez and Wolverine Gaming. If you want to do it the free-to-play way, that's fine too. Go ahead and gently rub that sub button, gingerly ring that bell button, lovingly kiss the like button. As always, this is Periodic. See y'all in the next video.